It's acres and move makers.
It's acres and move makers.
I deal with land flippers, acres and move makers, room shakers, big boys with huge paper, the newspapers. You can run but can't escape us. We winning with these flash green when they act racist. Success is so contagious.
Let's go. It's acres and move makers.
Welcome to Acres and Move Makers. My name is Ray.
My name is Jay.
And we are
Acre Boys.
Today, we want to talk to you about something that has been getting a lot of attention in our ecosystem, and that is the power of a family compound.
Yeah, for sure. So when we talk about like family compounds, I think some of the rave with that is just I think people are naturally infatuated with having that done. Now just imagine this, y'all. You have let's say a 40-acre property, right? You have the parents' home over here. Let's say you got 3 children. You got 3 separate houses and whatever else you have on that particular land, right? Now, if anybody is familiar, the rapper Little Boosie, he made a real crazy compound or whatever the case may be. I believe the main house is something like 17,000 square feet. Then he has 3 children, so he put 3 separate houses in the back, have their own separate swimming pools or whatever the case may be. Now basketball court, basketball court, all of those different things. Right? Now here's one thing that I definitely want to touch on, right? How powerful would that be inside of your family if everybody in your family or in your immediate family had an actual house that they can come to, that property taxes are being paid or whatever the case may be, and everybody had their own separate structure? How much easier would life be? Now, here's one of the things that I was thinking about. You don't necessarily have to go ahead and habitate that actual place all the time. That can be one of those places where you come to every couple of weeks, whatever the case may be. You can make it a retreat. But if all else falls out in the world, I don't care whether you lose your job, whatever the case may be, you have an actual backup plan for you to actually go to, right? A lot of people are unfamiliar with how this rural land works, because typically where these compounds are at, they're in places of bigger acreage as far as rural land. A lot of the rural land that we go ahead and deal with, there is no actual zoning inside of those areas, which means you can do primarily what you want to do on these properties. Now, another thing that a lot of people don't touch on is cost, right? What will it cost to actually get this compound, right? If you're dealing with water, it's a county water, whatever the case may be, does a well have to be put in? There's a lot of different things that have to be put in as far as this compound. But I'm telling y'all, first and foremost, for sure, if that is done and done right, that could be something that your family has for generations to come, just based off of the spots that you provided. And on top of that, there's still more land for you to add additional units. You don't have to stop there. I remember Little Boosie, they were putting a go-kart, track around there. They were doing volleyball courts, all different kind of things. And that's what you can do. That's the power of having your own land. Yes, we teach how to go ahead and acquire an undervalued asset as far as land, but we're also moving into the stage to where we're going to actually start keeping some of these properties and actually doing something with these properties that kind of mimic and model some of those different things. So that's what I mean. That family compound is extremely important. And that's why I think a lot of people go ahead and crave to that, because it's one of those things that you don't see done much.
Yeah, when it comes to the whole family compound thing, we did do a post, and that post actually went viral for us. Yeah. It's still going. It's I don't know, about 1.4 million in views on that post right now. And I think what it gets to our people and our culture is that it shows ownership. Yeah. That's the top of the food chain, is that it shows ownership. And I think we need to see more positive images like that. It shows togetherness, right? We received all kind of people commenting on the post. Some people saying, "Hey, I can't live that close to my family members.
Right.
I would love to live this close to my family members." But we need to get back to a place or places that we can call our own. And I think that's what's so intriguing about this family compound. And I think it's a really, really excellent concept. To be honest with you, Jay mentioned the price, right? You may be wondering, what does it cost to pull something off like that? Well, you have to check your local area, because it'll start with, knowing the price of land in your area, which can vary. And we know that we have ran across an acre of land, 2 acres of land for as little as $2,000 to $5,000.
Right.
Certain parts of the country, 2 acres to 5 acres is going to cost or start at $200,000. So, we put these kind of posts out and you get all of these kind of crazy people that say, there's no way land is that cheap. Well, maybe not where you're from, because it's a possibility. Not where I live personally, it's not that cheap as well. You can't get land for $5,000. But there are parts of the country, in a lot of rural parts of America, that you can get land for $2,000 to $5,000. Actual fact. I've bought some, I've sold some, and I know exactly where to get it from. The other thing is, you have to ask yourself, do you want to be on the outskirts, right? This probably works best if you are on the outskirts, outside of the city limits, because inside of the city limits, you have to deal with the restrictions of what could be built and things of that nature, getting all kind of permits and everything else that comes with building a structure. How many houses could be put on one allocated piece of land? That's the biggest thing. Inside of the city limits, they're probably only going to allow one home per parcel. So this may not work as well in the city limits, right? Unless you got like a huge piece of land, and that will probably be like a subdivision at that point, as opposed to a family compound. Right. But on the outskirts, do you want to live on the outskirts? Or is that too far from everything? Is rural your type of thing? If so, this family concept idea could work really, really well. Next, you have to factor in your utilities once you have your land. Are you going to put a modular home? Are you going to build from ground up? Are you going to put mobile homes? What is it that you want? Are you going to put tiny homes on it? That's the beauty about being on the outskirts. You get to say what you want to put on your land, and you just decide what you want to put. That's going to have a lot to do with how much you're going to pay. Clearly, a new build would cost more than it would be to put a mobile home or a manufactured home or a modular home. Or a tiny home, right? Tiny home would probably be the least expensive. So you have to say what you want to do. We've seen some that was tiny home communities, meaning that it was like just one bedroom, small bathroom, small kitchenette, things like that. Or we've seen some that had huge construction houses on it. So you have to say what you want to do. Then you have to factor in your utilities. You will need septic or well on the outskirts. I highly doubt if it's going to be public water that runs to that property. And if it is public water that runs, that can be very expensive, getting it to run to connect to the city lines and run it to that property. So these things on the low end, you could expect it probably, I would say, me, myself, I would say you'd probably need to have at least on the very low end, about minimum 100,000. And that's going to go all the way up depending on the design and type of property or properties that you want to put on your property. But I absolutely love the idea. I absolutely love the concept of the family compound. And I think that's what we need to get back to. For sure. We need to get back to everybody putting their money together, because 4 is better than 3, 5 is better than 4, and things become a lot less expensive when it's multiple people putting into one pot. I.e., for me and his partnership, things are a lot less expensive when they're split in half, as opposed to it just being one person having to foot the whole bill. So that's my spill on it. I love the concept, and as Jay stated, we will venture into doing some of these things ourselves. We will probably start small. I would probably say our compound would probably start with max 4 different places, 3 or 4 to start, and we'll build from there and continue to go higher.
Yeah, for sure. The sky's the limit with that kind of thing, especially like you said, outside of the city limits. Now, you can go ahead, let's say you got a 40-acre property, 20 acres you want to designate for your family. The other half you want to actually put tiny homes on, Airbnbs. It could be retreats. It could be a lot. All of this property, when it's done right, can be an income producing play. Some people will rather go with agriculture and want to go ahead and farm or do different things on that. There's so many different things that you can do and get state money as far as depending on what you want to do. Because I was reading something a little earlier about harvesting bees and all of these different kind of things where the state will actually come in and give you money when you can partner with them. So sky's the limit out there. Like my partner said, I think we need to return back to that kind of thing, because we're more powerful when we're together than when we're apart.
Yeah, and these things are just to spark the ideas to start thinking this way, right? This is not the cool thing. Owning rural land in our culture, it's not a cool thing.
Right.
So for everybody that's plugged into this channel, thank you for being here. And we want to further push this word out because we have to go to where we can start owning things. And things within the city limits, it's already bought. So we have to go where we can start owning some things so we can start calling some of the shots. Not for others, at least for our own selves and our own families.
That's right.
So until the next time, drop your comments below on this concept. Let me know what your thoughts is on this family compound. Like,
comment, subscribe, all that.
And we'll catch you on the next one. You know the motto, invest in dirt.
Cleanest way to make money. Peace, y'all.